Something else to watch for is Venezuela. This is the biggest rape and robbery of a country ever. And the press is making this into a nationalist movement. No. This is a socialist dictatorship. And you can try to repackage it any way you want. But this was a country that had hope, that Hugo Chavez and his socialist regime started to take it apart, and now the wheels have come off, and it is a humanitarian crisis that people don't really want to talk about. We have Debbie D'Souza. Debbie is Dinesh D'Souza's wife. She's from Venezuela, and we were talking about it the other day about what was happening, and we thought, we got to call Debbie because her family is still there. She knows what's happening. We're going to talk a little bit about what's really going on in Venezuela and what a Marxist utopia looks like in the end, beginning right now.
I will make a stand, I will raise my voice, I will hold your hand, 'cause we have won, I will beat my drum, I have made my choice, we will overcome, 'cause we are one.
The fusion of entertainment and enlightenment. This is the Glenn Beck Program.
I saw a video the other day of Venezuelan citizens walking down the street at night, literally looking for dogs so they can eat. What is happening in Venezuela is remarkable, and it is a socialist utopia the way they always end. There's a humanitarian crisis going on right now in Venezuela, some of which I can't talk to you about. There are things going on right now that people are being literally smuggled out at night because they're being targeted as groups. As I look at this and see what's going on, and now the press is starting to say, "Oh, you know what this is? This is what happens when you go to nationalism and populism." No, that's not what this is. This is communism. This is socialism. This is what happens. And quite honestly, this is the road that we've been headed on for a very long time. Debbie D'Souza joins us now in the program. Hi, Debbie. How are you?
Hi, Glenn. First of all, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for talking about Venezuela for all these years. I've listened to you for years, and you have been right on target with the situation in Venezuela from the very beginning, and I want to thank you for that, because not very many people talk about it. They ignore it. Venezuela is only a couple of thousand miles away from us.
I know.
And, they have not talked about it at all. And like you say, they say it's something other than what it is. And it is downright socialism, and this is what it looks like. This is the ugly side of socialism, which actually I don't know that there's a pretty side to it, but
this is when who was it, Thatcher, that said the problem with socialism is eventually you run out of other people's money.
Exactly.
This is that point where eventually you run out of money.
Absolutely. And Venezuela, I was born in Venezuela in 1966. It was a thriving country. It's an oil-rich country. So, we had all of the amenities that you could think of. The birth rate in Venezuela, obviously, when I was born, was high. Now, babies born in Venezuela, the birth rate has gone down because the death rate has gone way up for babies born, because Hugo Chavez, as you said, destroyed the healthcare system, trying to make everybody pay for it. Well, when people started leaving the country, when doctors started leaving the country, there was no one to pay for it.
And then when he had a thriving oil company or oil industry, and when he took that over and nationalized oil, that went through the ground.
he nationalized everything: telecommunications, energy. The left in Venezuela is also into the whole climate change thing, and so they basically started doing wattage allotments for people. So if you went over your allotted wattage at the end of the month, you had to pay like a 200% tax increase on top of your bill. And so people stopped using blow dryers. They stopped using. I mean, it was ridiculous. Of course, now
Debbie,
it's just awful.
Debbie, when you see this is a narco-communist state. This is a communist state now that has ties to terror, ties to Iran, ties to Hezbollah. The current president is going to Citibank, and it's going to be one of the biggest robberies of all time, or at least this century, where he is now going to sell all of the Venezuelan gold reserve. And you hear people on TV say this is populism, which is clearly wrong and clearly trying to make a point that is anti-Donald Trump. How does that make people in Venezuela feel?
Well, those people that get it in Venezuela are huge Donald Trump fans. They're in fact, they've asked me to tell you and the viewers, please, Donald Trump, do something. Either embolden the opposition. We're not asking for military intervention. It's actually that bad. But we want to embolden the opposition.
Who is the opposition that could fix this?
Well, the opposition leader right now is Enrique Capriles. It's basically made up of different political parties that are all on the right side of the ideological chart. So, in other words, when COPE, which was it was basically the equivalent of the Republican Party, self-destructed. This is what gave way to Hugo Chavez. This is the reason Hugo Chavez was able to come in and take over the country, is the right of Venezuela just completely self-destructed. And so then they kind of started picking up the pieces and splintered off into just a bunch of different political groups. And so they all got together and called themselves the opposition. And so Enrique Capriles basically has run for president twice. And we believe that the last time he actually won, but there was voter fraud. And so basically, it was either last week or a couple of weeks ago, they banned him from running for any type of office. I mean, can you imagine? So they are afraid of this man. So him, and then there's a woman. She's a congresswoman named Maria Corina Machado, who's also opposition party. And they have actually blamed the death of this young girl. I sent you a video. This girl who was killed by thugs who basically are helping run the country. These are called colectivos. It's basically a civilian army that Hugo Chavez established based off of criminals who he pardoned. And so they're murderers, they're rapists. They run amok all over the city, just killing people, raping women, doing whatever they want.
This happens, and this is why Haiti can't get back up on its feet, because they have the same kind of thing happening in Haiti.